Okay, guys, Patricia Holmes here, chapter 6. We're on part 3 of our working through this chapter. We're going to do a couple more keyframes added to this. We're going to do more animation. So what we want to do first is we want to make sure we're on one frame 190 of the camera layer. And remember, if that camera layer just suddenly disappeared, make sure you have this chosen, the camera layer chosen. Click on 190. Make sure you come over here to the and have this rotation selected. It's a brighter color. You can have it selected here. And what we're going to do is we are going to um, move the, we can drag the slider. So we can drag the slider like this, but we can also specifically type in a rotation value. Oh, look, that's exactly what I want at -39. You can manually move the satellite and the Earth in the center of the camera, or you can simply type in -39. That's what we want for 190. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to have a different camera view. So let's add a new keyframe. We're going to come over here to 215. And then we are going to um, basically change the rotation back to 0. So click on this. You can just hit clear on that one. That will set everything back to 0. That's fine. And then we're going to move the camera so Earth and the satellite called Juno are roughly in the center of this. So grab the camera and we're going to move this to about here. Then we're going to go to frame 228 per the author's instructions. Roughly 228. Okay, good. And then we are going to change the perspective again. So we're going to change to the zoom value to about 90%. So click on it. Come over here to the zoom value. We're going to put that 90%. So again, we're kind of zooming in, zooming out. And we'll take a look at how all this will be when we hit play. Next, we're going to come over here, move my timeline down. I'm going to take the playhead. I'm going to come over here to frame 480. Select 480, which is at the end here, roughly at the end. And we're going to insert, right click, we're going to insert keyframe and choose the all selection. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do another zoom. And so we want to zoom in on the satellite's approach to Jupiter. And we're going to be moving the camera around here. And what we want to do is we want to finish here with a zoom in. So that's the end goal. It's going to take a little bit of manipulation, and we can take this, and I like to do this in increments instead of, you know, you got to move this, because every time we make a zoom, the camera changes positions a little bit. So we want ultimately this camera screen to be full, to be filled with Jupiter. Okay, let me do a little bit more, and then I think you guys got the point of what we're trying to do here. You can make it a little bit larger if you want. Okay, there we go. Now we're going to add some stars to the background, and we're going to add some depth to those stars. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to add a layer. And make sure the layer is at the very bottom, because we want the stars to be in the background. The bottom is the back. The foremost front is going to be in the top. We're going to name the stars. And we're going to come over here to frame 1. And we are going to add an image of stars that has been provided for us in the library. Click on that empty frame. Go into the library. Click stars 1. Drag it out on the desktop. We're going to center it, and we're going to rotate it in just a second. So you're going to do this for a couple of layers. So the author is requesting 3 layers of stars, and for each layer, position the stars a little bit differently, but just make sure that it's covering the green orbit line here. So every time I get the star icon out, it doesn't really want to cooperate with me. And so I'm going to click on it again. I'm going to hold my mouse down really hard. There we go. Now it's cooperating. It's probably more my computer than not. So let's just quickly, I'm just going to quickly add another layer, stars 2. And all the author is asking us to do is rotate, add the icon here, or the image, and then rotate it. That way we don't accidentally have stars sitting on top of each other. So click the star image, drag it out onto the stage. Starting to think my mouse is not cooperating with me. Okay, click out of that. Click back into that first one, the empty keyframe. And then we're going to drag the stars. There we go. And then this time, what we're going to do, I'm going to center it a little bit better. And the author is asking that we take this, this image here and we click the rotation tool and we rotate the stars. So again, they're not on top of each other. Okay, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to add one more layer. And I don't think the stars are going to be on top of each other. It would be very difficult to make that actually happen. All right, and I'm going to click this image again on the new layer and drag out another copy. Let's make sure we're on the actual frame 1. Yay. My mouse is cooperating. Add some more stars. Now we're just simply going to add some depth to the stars. And this is kind of a new animation technique that I want to show you right here. Okay. Before we do that, we can actually come in here. Let's take this last star, or any one of the 3 star layers, and if you click on it, you can come over here to the property, and you can come over to color effects, and you can change the alpha a little bit to lighten it. Let's just do this a little bit, kind of go maybe 50% on this one. It adds a different effect. It shows a little bit of a depth to it. Speaking of depth, let's use a tool that you probably have not used before. Look at my mouse right here. Come over here and click on this. It's click to invoke layer depth panel. So we're going to click it. And what this is going to do is going to give us an option to add depth to layers. So click on it again. So see the star layer. Let's just click on the star layer. Now if you drag this out and in, you'll see, isn't that cool? You'll see the depth effect to it. And so the author wants us to drag this one out a little bit. So we're going to just add a little bit of change to these. Specifically, one will be about 150. The other one will be a little bit more, a little bit deeper. Oh, that's still on, I'm still on the first one. Let's do about 150 on that one, roughly. We could, of course, type it in. And this one is going to be about roughly 300. And the final layer, which is not showing here, let me drag my timeline up. Okay, so what happened to my depth? Here's an active listening quiz. We got to get that last one in depth. What happened? What happened to my depth screen? Well, you can just come over here and click the icon. Boom, there it is. I think that's a song. Ooh, there it is. Okay, anyway. All right, I'm just having fun here. And then we're going to, basically what we're doing on each star layer, we're adding a different depth to it. Okay, guys, we're getting close to finalizing this movie. And then finally, we need to add a little bit of text to this. So let's just do this. Let's save our work here. hit save, and let's finish up this chapter in the next video. Thanks for listening.